Greetings traders and welcome back to another In-Depth with Chris episode. In today's discussion we will be talking about why most day traders are actually failing. This is one of those touchy subjects where a lot of us don't want to admit that the reality is the majority of traders are actually losing money. That doesn't mean you have to, so we're going to cover all of the different top reasons that cause day traders to unfortunately fall below their expectations. That way, you know exactly how to avoid those mistakes yourself. You can see them coming from a mile away, and you can avoid being below the curve. That's the idea. But before we get going, please click that like and subscribe button down below to make sure I can keep coming out with these videos for you guys. I appreciate it a great deal, so thank you very much. But let's dive on into that information and learn why most day traders fail. Bzz. The financial markets are a highly competitive niche. It's a very zero-sum style of game where in order for us to win, we need to be better than others. But really, in life, that is mostly how all things work of some degree. In order to earn more, we generally need to be better than those that are earning less in a lot of areas and a lot of jobs. Trading is no different. We need to be above the curve in order to earn income that is above the curve. So we're going to talk about all of the different details that go into why day traders fail, but let's start off with talking about what the success rate of day trading is. It's entirely too common that we see day traders brag about their successful trades, boasting about a large winner they have, but meanwhile, they often end up sweeping their losses right under the rug and we never hear about them. And therefore, it makes it seem to outsiders that day traders are just generally rolling in the money and it's a very simple job and there's not a whole lot else to it. But the reality is, experts believe that somewhere around 10 to 30% of day traders are profitable. That means that 70 to 90% of all of those attempting day trades are actually not coming out in profit. That's a very large number. Let that sink in for a moment. Now, you don't need to let that number discourage you because there are a lot of well, for lack of a better term, dum-dums out there. But the reality is that it is many day traders that are succumbing to this inability to stick to their trading plans after they go live, and that is what's leading to them to fail with live money accounts. So to be successful, we need to work out an investment strategy and stick to our stop loss limits and all that good stuff. So we're going to cover all of this. We're going to talk about all the different reasons why day traders fail. In the world of day trading, it's all too common that traders are out here looking for a catch-all solution to improve their day trading magically overnight and all of a sudden become a success and make millions of dollars. And while that sounds wonderful, the reality of how traders actually become profitable is by systematically solving or addressing the individuals that are holding them back. And that's exactly what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about the top reasons why day traders are being held back, the things that are causing the most leaks in their game, so to speak, the things that are hurting their equity the most. One of the biggest mistakes that day traders make is not using a stop loss. In theory, every new trader will have some kind of stop-loss strategy in mind as a means of protecting their profits and cutting their losses, but it's quite curious that so many traders after their beginning stages switch away from using stop-loss. The reason behind this is kind of simple. It feels unnatural to sell a futures contract or equity when it's going down and allow ourselves to accept a loss. That is just human nature, but the reality is we need to become comfortable with accepting that loss, because by accepting that loss, we're allowing ourselves to profit again on another day. Let us imagine that our technical analysis told us that the S&P 500 should be rising, and as such, we decided to take a long on it. We decided to open up a few different contracts in the futures market to take advantage of this expected movement in the market. So we open up our long position, we've got our contracts rolling, and let's say that the market is moving in our favor. It feels amazing to watch the market go in our favor and to watch our account balance grow. Well, what if all of a sudden news came out and it sharply changed change the direction that we wanted. It started going down instead of up. And not only did it start going down, but it actually went below where we entered. Some traders will find themselves getting rid of their stop loss because they just are not ready to accept that their position they were so close to closing out in profit is now going to be a loser. And the truth is, if we can just accept it and remove our emotions from it, we're going to be better off, and it'll allow us to make profits again on another day. We're not trying to win every trade, we're trying to win the majority of trades, which means we need to accept when a trade is going against us with a stop loss. Not managing risk well is another crucial downfall that traders exhibit. This is somewhat similar to not using a stop loss, but it encompasses the idea of maintaining healthy risk-reward ratios. If we were to think about a scenario like we were trading for a ratio of 2 to 1 in the market, meaning we wanted to make 2 times what we are willing to risk in order to achieve it. So if we were looking to achieve 2 points in the market and our stop loss was 1 point below our entry, we're risking 1 point in order to make 2 points. At this ratio, if we always make sure that we're going for at least a 2 to 1 in this scenario, we're always going to be profitable even if we only have a 50% accuracy. So all of a sudden, the ability for us to maintain a profitable trading composure has become a lot easier because the accuracy requirement is now much lower. But if we were to inverse that, if we were to go for 1 point with a 2-point stop loss, our requirement for accuracy has now shot up drastically, and we're basically going to have to win darn near every trade, which makes it an awful lot more difficult and makes the room for error all the smaller. Not having a trading plan is another terrible mistake. Investing in futures, equities, mutual funds without a trading plan is a lot like jumping in your car, turning onto the highway, and just driving. Where are you going? How will you know when you're getting there? What are you hoping for? If you don't have an exact trading plan, then it becomes incredibly difficult to systematically improve whatever it is that you're trying to improve because your variables are constantly changing and they're never measured. The trading plan represents a way to have constants to allow us to systematically control what we are doing. That way we can change one thing at a time, and we have something to follow to take our emotions out of the equation. And oftentimes in trading, our emotions are not our friend. So if we have a trading plan, usually we're doing tremendously better off than someone who doesn't, and we can rely on our trading plan to give us a degree of consistency as we trade going forward. Overtrading is another common mistake that newer traders will tend to make when they're feeling very gung-ho or excited about a particular trading process that they're trying to employ. The problem with overtrading is, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how many trades we make because we're not measured as traders by the number of trades we make, but instead we're measured by the degree of profit that we can generate. Which means if we take 2 trades and we end up with $100 in profit, or if we make 100 trades to reach that $100 in profit, usually it's much more preferable to make the 2 trades, have less time investment, as well as less fees and commissions that we might have to pay from making more trades to get to the same route. So the less trades we can make in order to get to that profit is better, and if we remember that and we allow ourselves to avoid an overtrading scenario, that will allow us to keep our emotions in control. And once again, having emotions in control is a huge aspect to being a successful trader. The fear of missing out, otherwise known as FOMO, is arguably every trader's worst enemy. This is something that applies to experienced traders as well as new traders. This is something that needs to be monitored and paid attention to in your trading career at all stages. The fear of missing out is something that is just tied to our human psychology. It's the action of deciding to do something because we feel like we already know what's happening and we do not want to miss out any further on something that is already happening that we feel is validating what we already thought would happen. This is the common history of when we are looking at the market and we go ahead and we buy because the market is rising, because we expected it to rise, even though the reason we are buying is not part of our trading plan. That is a classic case of FOMO, and while sometimes it might work in our favor, it's not anything that can be measured or relied on because it's not part of our trading plan, and as such, it is quite usually a net negative and can lead to some massively tragic results for traders, and generally does. If you browse the internet and look up FOMO, you'll find tons of traders reporting their incidents self-admittedly where they succumbed to FOMO and it did not end in their favor. Going live with too much capital but not enough results is a very common problem amongst new traders. This is what happens when traders trade on a demo account and they string together maybe 3 or 4 wins and feel like they've got the hang of it, they know what they're doing, and surely they wouldn't have won 3 or 4 trades in a row if they didn't know what they were doing, so they're going to just dump their entire retirement fund into their trading account because the more money they have, the more money they'll make. While in theory, the more money you have in your trading account can theoretically lead to making more money, this is only true if we are winning the trades that we are making. And in order to be sure that we are going to have a solid fighting chance in the markets, we should experience what 100 trades feels like on a demo account before we even consider moving to a live account. If we are seeing results that we're satisfied with 100 trades, at that point it would then be logical to begin maybe working our way over to the live account. But even then, it would not be logical to dump all of our hard-earned pennies into our trading account, because in the beginning, when we switch from a demo to a live account, it is a very different psychological feeling. Even if we don't think it will be, it just is. Many traders will trade quite well on a demo account, but then all of a sudden when they go live, they just fall under the psychological pressures and their accuracy rating just drops off a cliff. And when they were profitable on the demo account, all of a sudden they might not be profitable on the live. And we always need to be prepared for this. The more data we have supporting what we're doing, the better off we are. So accumulate that trading data before you go live. Another common mistake that traders make is not accumulating enough data from multiple different market landscapes and multiple different assets. At first, you might say, well, if I'm interested in trading the E-mini S&P 500 and my strategy was formulated on the E-mini S&P 500, well, then why would that be useful to me? Well, the short answer is, if we use different market landscapes, it is possible that we find that our strategy that was formulated on the E-mini S&P 500 might perhaps work better on, say, crude oil. Who knows? We don't know until we try, but it also allows us to see how our strategy performs in different market landscapes. It lets us know if the market is going to favor our strategy when it's ranging, or maybe it's going to favor our strategy more when it's trending. These are all different things that we want to expose ourselves to. That way we're prepared and know how our strategy will react when that time arrives in whatever asset we choose to ultimately trade our strategy on. So the more data we accumulate almost always is going to work in our favor, especially when we allow ourselves to view different market landscapes and trade different market assets. In trading, it's always important to remember to be humble, which means don't overlook simple steps like the ones that we discussed today. You may think that these are rather easy to understand and you know that you'll do just fine even if you kind of just keep them on the back of your head. But if you even neglect just one of them, like the FOMO rule, you don't take it seriously enough, that can lead to one mistake that leads to a wiped account, and no one likes a wiped account. We've all done it, we've all been there, and it's part of the learning process, but only if it happens and doesn't continue to happen. You never want to continuously repeat your mistakes. Instead, we want to learn from our mistakes, and if possible, it's always valuable to learn from other mistakes. So if we focus in on the different things that we talked about today and really make sure that we focus on back testing and forward testing, which means we actually use that information when we trade with the post data live on a demo account, so we're getting results from how it would have done in the past, as well as how it would do in current market activity, we can get a really good, solid idea of what to expect when we go live. And if we feel that we've done our homework, then usually our psychology will allow us to be more relaxed and feel more confident about what we're doing and less prone to emotional swings. But until next time, folks, thank you for joining me as always. It is always a pleasure to bring you guys some information. Please click that like and subscribe button down below so I can keep coming out with videos for you, and I will see you in the next one. Happy trading, everybody. See you soon.